Our next speaker, I had a chance to meet. It was about 8 months ago, I think it was. I remember getting him on the phone. It was after a BNI meeting. And I tell you one thing, this guy is full of energy. You think James is full of energy? Wait till you meet our next presenter, Mr. Tommy Mello. Now, Tommy, he is the owner and operator of A1 Garage Door Service. And he's the host of the Home Service Expert podcast and owner, partner, and investor in 14 other businesses ranging from Christmas lights to real estate to mobile apps. Think he might have to have a little energy? In 2007, Tommy became the sole owner of a single Phoenix-based garage door company. And he took over that business with $50,000 in debt in 2007. What was that, 12 years ago? Today, A1 Garage generates over $30 million in annual revenue with over 250 employees in 12 states. Tommy is a regular contributor to Inc. magazine, Entrepreneur, and other business publications on the topic of entrepreneurships and small businesses, as well as a sought-after podcast, radio, and television guest. When he's not in the office or he's on the golf course chasing that little bitty white golf ball. Who loves golf in here? I know I do. So, guys, you're going to love Tommy. Please put your hand together for Mr. Tommy Mello.
All right. You guys hear me? Mic test. Mic test. All right, here we go. So my name's Tommy Mello, and I'm here today from Phoenix, Arizona. I flew 662 miles on Southwest Airlines yesterday to be here today. And as I look out into this crowd, I see something that we all have in common. And I'm guessing as I look out there, you guys over there, did you take a flight out here, travel the ways to be here? All right, yeah, I thought so. I know there's some people out from Canada out here. Who's from Canada? So we all travel the ways to be here, and my question is why? Why are we here? Why did we spend this time and money to be away from our families, away from our jobs, away from our lives? And I can tell you why I'm here. I'm here to share with you one thing that changed my life, and it changed my business. Now, I know I'm standing here on stage because I've been blessed with a tremendous amount of success, which I'll get into later. But it wasn't that long ago that I was sitting in a seat just like you're in today, wondering what the heck I was going to do with my life. And I want to share with you a story about when I was 7 years old. I was 7. My sister was 6 years older than me. We grew up in Michigan. And it was one of those really, really cold days. And my sister used to go start the car 10 minutes in advance to make sure it was warm. And this time she started my dad's car, she found a letter from another woman in the car, and it was a love letter. So my sister walked in the house. I remember this day very vividly. She was bawling her eyes out, and she handed it to my mom. It's a pretty sensitive story here. So she handed it to my mom, and my mom busted up with tears, and she filed for divorce that day. And my life had changed forever since that day. I could tell you that my mom had to work 3 jobs to keep the house. She was a server by night, 2 different serving jobs. She was a real estate agent in the daytime. You know, my dad had lost his business at this point. I had to get a job when I was 12 because I got paid under the table. It was a year before I could actually work. And my sister grew up not really appreciating men, and the church helped out a lot. The church actually gave us Thanksgiving dinner 3 years in a row. They gave us some presents, which I really wasn't concerned with presents at this point. And that story really sucks, doesn't it? It sounds like I'm a victim when I tell that story, but I want to tell you guys another story. This story is really what I see in my past. My dad was my soccer coach, my baseball coach, my wrestling coach. My mom worked her ass off, but guess what? She told me every day how much she loved me and how much she cared about me. She gave me more love in her left pinky than most people get in a lifetime. My grandma got to hang around a lot. My grandma was always around. And here's the deal about my grandma. She's a hell of a cook. Okay, so I had my own personal cook with me all the time. And, I had that job when I was 12. But guess what? When I was 13, I became a busboy, and I had money. all the money I wanted. If I wanted to buy pizza when we had a snow day, I bought it for me and my buddies. I was the coolest dude at the roller rink. I'm telling you guys. I had these new pair of Bowman. It was so cool. Bowers. So, my point of all this story is I could have focused and been a victim. But I choose to look at my past and I say, man, my mom and dad did the best they could. My dad taught me how to be number one. Aspire to be number one. That's one of my core values. And it means a lot to me to look at my past and say, I wasn't a victim. Man, I had it great. I had it amazing. And I'll never forget that because, look, I'm here today on stage, and I'm here. You guys seen some of the speakers. I mean, geez, these speakers are amazing. You've got world-renowned speakers. They're bestsellers. We've got PhDs and MDs. And then you've got me, and I've got some fancy letters after my last name. It's called ADHD. And now here's the deal. I've had 4 cups of coffee and a Red Bull, so you guys are in for a treat. So I got little notes here. We'll go who I am. So I own a company called Lead Geeks, and what that is we find people that type in sell my house fast into Google or Bing or a lot of other places, and we pop up. So we sell to investors, we sell to realtors, flippers, you name it. And we're always looking for people that want to sell their house fast, off market. So usually they're going through a divorce or moving across country or they're financially distressed. And we save their day. We do hundreds of these leads per day, and I've got an amazing partner. His name's Dustin. And it kind of correlates to a lot of the people in here, real estate agents. So I thought I'd talk about one of those businesses. And then I've got A1 Garage Doors. You guys heard a little bit about that. I started that in 2007. And I'll tell you this, we've been fortunate to be successful over the last 12 years with 250 employees, 12 states, 20 markets. And I'm really proud of everybody in the company because every single person has contributed to the success. It's a garage door company. We fix garage doors, we replace them. I mean, I'm really happy with what we've done to this company. But I've made every single mistake there is in the book. Every mistake. I've hired family, I've fired family. Hired friends, fired friends. Gone into debt. I mean, I can tell you guys, it's been a roller coaster. But I decided a few years ago, I got to write a book about all these mistakes I've made. So I wrote a book. It's this Home Service Millionaire. It's how I went from $70,000 in debt to a $30 million company. And what's cool about all that is Cody got his hands on it from my good friend, George Redheffer. George is out here somewhere. Can't tell you enough. You guys know George. He's an amazing guy. He introduced me to Cody. I came and checked this place out about 6 to 8 months ago, the headquarters. I got to see Cody speak live. And this guy's so inspirational. I mean, he writes his own lyrics to his songs. Who does that? And I got to be on his podcast. Some of you may have heard me. And I love the opportunity to be here today because it means a lot to me to be with everybody here. You know, you got Cody, you got Dave Smith. How cool is Dave Smith? Sandogo. You got Greg, the CEO. I mean, this guy is amazing. You've got, a lot of people don't realize how much it takes to put on an event like this. I mean, this takes a lot of time, effort, a lot of sacrifice. And Whitney Jensen was one of the people that Cody really put in charge of this thing. And I'd love to get a round of applause for Whitney and the people in the back that are killing it. They're killing it. This coffee's kicking in, so bear with me. So this is kind of the whole topic of my speech today is WIFM. A lot of you have probably heard of this. What's in it for me? But I'm going to throw a 180 on this and say what's in it for them. You see, when I started thinking about what's in it for them, everything changed. Everything changed. I have a whiteboard in my kitchen. It's ridiculous. But I started writing down everything about how I could make the other person win. And there's a great book by Dale Carnegie. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's a staple. You guys might have heard of it. But here's what I do. I study that book. I open it every day and I pull one of the 6 things he says. He says to smile. I always tell my guys, smile. We got to smile more. So smile. I say, be genuinely interested in the other person. You have no idea what that means when you could actually do that and it works. Be genuinely interested. And when you're genuinely interested, amazing things come when you both win. Use their first and last name. When you're born as a little baby, the first thing you hear is this beautiful little boy, Tommy. I love my name, Tommy. It's an amazing name. You know, if you start to really study these things, dust that book off. All of you probably have it on your shelves. I'm telling you, it'll make a big difference. And that's what it's all about, is what's in it for that other person. So this next slide is of a cop. It's kind of funny because I'm the type of guy that falls down, and I fall down a lot, but I get back up. I fall down and I get back up. Well, the field sobriety test officer didn't really appreciate that about me. So this next slide over here, you got Brian, you've got Luke. These guys are my top managers. You've got this lovely lady, Sheila, that we met at this convention. You got myself. We were at the Service Titan convention. Service Titan is our CRM. That stands for Customer Relationship Management System. And they're about a $2.7 billion company. And you see, Service Titan only works with HVAC, plumbing, and electrical companies till they met me. They said no to me 7 times until I got a hold of the CEO on LinkedIn, and I promised him I would not let him down. And we got to go. This was a few months ago. We went to this convention, and Luke is the guy second from the left here. Amazing guy. He's in charge of our door department. And they had all these little breakout sessions. So me and Luke ended up at a lot of the same ones. We didn't even plan on it. We're in this one about leadership. And this guy, Jack Tester, amazing leader. I mean, this is a world-renowned speaker. He owns a huge company. And he says, hey, I want you to close your eyes and think of one leader, one person. It could be anybody. So I'm sitting there closing my eyes, and I'm going through all these people. Like it's MLK, JFK, could be anybody, right? So then he says, think about the one word. What is the one word that really tells that guy's story, explains that leader? So I'm sitting there and I'm meditating, hibernating, just working on that word, and I feel this tap on my shoulder, and it's Luke. And I said, Luke, what are you doing? I'm sitting here meditating. He said, the person I thought about was you. He said, and I said, okay, what is it? Charismatic, good-looking, funny? And he said, no. He said, it's passion, Tommy. And that's when he asked me for a raise. No, but he said, dude, you're so passionate. You have so much energy. You get so excited. You have so much. It's just everything you talk about, whether it's Send-Out Cards, Sendogo, A1 garage doors. I get passionate about garage doors. You're going to hear about that in a little bit. I love garage doors. It's 40% of your curb appeal. It's your smile on your home. So, you know, passion is so important with what we do. If you could ooze passion, you'll sell more to everybody. So important. This next slide is called 6 degrees of separation. Has anybody ever heard of 6 degrees of separation? What it means is we're all connected at 6 degrees. So if I was to tell 6 of you something and it spider-webbed out, the whole 7 continents would find out about it, especially now because we got Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat. I mean, I can't even keep up with this stuff. But what I learned about my business, 2007, right? Grant Cardone wrote this book. It's Sell or Be Sold. It's figure out your power 6. Friends, neighbors, family, relationships. Go after those relationships. So I did that in 2007. And I made a list. This is my first list. I didn't do 6 people, I did 60 because I tried 10 times harder. And you know what I did is I called these people up and I said, let me give you a garage door tune-up. Let me fix your bottom rubber and keep those nasty bugs out. So I came there with a camera. I took before and after pictures. I got testimonials. I asked for Yelp reviews. I had them give me their power 6. And then I'd hire somebody and sit down with them at my desk and say, give me your 10 top people. And they did. And we called all of them. That's how we grew this business to the largest business now. We're the 3rd largest garage door company in North America. We will be the biggest in North America. And how many people are using their list? Thank you. Use this list. Here's what I think most of us become. How many people get out of their car in the morning and sneak into it? Or we get out of our car at night and we just sneak into the house. No one knows what we do. You don't have to be a secret agent. You're at that family event. Yeah, I send out cards. No, let me tell you something. If you tell everybody what you do, you know how many people call me? I've got 3 requests back there waiting on my cell phone of people that ask for a garage door, new garage door repair. We market. That's what we do. We talk to people. We tell them who we are. You don't have to be a secret agent. I mean, that's, I got my little notes here. But go after your relationships. Go after your relationships. That's how you make this thing grow. That's what this marketing is all about, is go after those relationships. Talk to people when you're on a plane. When you guys are flying out of here, talk to people about what you do. Trust me, it'll multiply your business in ways you never do. It's spider webs. So this next slide is, I have a guy named Giuseppe who does all my video work, and I said, hey, put something together that'll make people, just tell a story about my humility. And I figure if you can't laugh at yourself, then who can you laugh at? So here's a quick 2-minute video about me and humility.
Hi there, I'm Tommy Mello, home service expert, also known for my book, The Home Service Millionaire. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about, hey there, hi there, hey there. Shit, it's hard to fucking, Tommy Mello here. I knew that would get your attention. Go ahead, okay, we're good. Hey there, Tommy Mello with The Home Service. Hi. All right, let's play this bad way. So here's the thing. What do I do at hold on. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, the home service expert, and I want to tell you it's not time to take a nap. But wait a minute. My goal is to give you the best content and advice in the home service industry so that you can grow your business just like I grew mine. Recently, I got the opportunity to interview a home service expert legend. I also started a podcast called The Home Service Millionaire. I'm Tommy Mello, the home service expert. I'm so excited about. So to insulate or to non-insulate, that is the question. Name and, okay. I'm not only the founder, but I'm also the, what is it? Tommy Mello here, the host and founder of the Home Service Expert. Get ready because we're about to make you some money. Give us the opportunity to show you, and I promise you, you won't be disappointed. Listen, if you like what you're hearing so far, I would absolutely love your support. Listen, if you like what you're hearing so far, I would love for your support. And sign up now. I'll see you next time.
Yeah. He got me good on that one. So, I was thinking about humility as I'm going up here. I don't know how I go back to this slide, but I'll go back to it. So humility, I'm sitting there at the middle of December, and I go to the doctor's office, and he tells me my body fat. I think it was 18.3. So I set a New Year's resolution, and I'm like, this year, I'm getting down to 10%. 10% is when the six-pack shows up. 10%, you're just a little lighter on your feet. Your sports are better. And here we are in August, and I only have 10% more to go. So, not too bad. It's all about the humility. So, this slide is all about leading by example. So, I've got about 60 people that sit in my call center between dispatchers and call center representatives. And I walk in there, and I've done every job in the company. I've washed the toilets, I've worked in the warehouse, I've fixed doors, I've answered calls, I've booked calls, you name it. And one of the gals, Mary, comes up to me and she goes, Tommy, I wish you were here 10 minutes ago. She goes, I couldn't book this call. Now, I've got all eyes on me in the call center. Like, I don't go in there all the time. So I walk in there and I say, Mary, what happened? And she says, Tommy, she goes, this lady called and it's after hours. It was Kansas, Wichita, Kansas. And she says, we didn't have an after hours tech. And I said, wait a minute, Mary, let's figure this out. Let's go ahead. I'll call Charles. So I called Charles. And Charles said, hey, boss, what's up? I said, can you run this after hours call? I said, no problem. So I said, Mary, let's get this lady back on the phone. So she calls Miss Smith. And I took the phone and I said, Miss Smith, my name's Tommy Mello. I'm with A1 Garage Door Service. I want to save the day today. Can we get out there? We could get someone out there. I just talked to Charles. We could be there in 20 minutes to fix your garage door. And she says, oh, Tommy, you sound like such a nice guy, but I've already booked with someone else. And oh, shoot. I looked out into everybody's looking at me like I said, and I go, I cannot let this go. So I said, oh, okay, Miss Smith, I understand that. You mind if I ask you who you got coming out to the house? And she said, oh, it's this company. It's called Wichita's Best or something, Wichita's Best Garage Doors. And I said, okay, do you mind if I ask you what they're charging you? And she said, well, you know, a few $100 plus the emergency or the late call fee. And I said, ma'am, Miss Smith, what if I told you I could beat that price and not charge you that later fee? And she starts laughing at me. And she starts saying, well, Tom, I told you already. I booked it with somebody else. And I said, that's no problem. I'm going to cancel for you. You gave me the name of the company. And she started cracking up. And she goes, Tommy, you are so tenacious. I go, yeah, I got my whole call center staring at me. So she said, Tommy, give me 5 minutes. Give me 5 and call me back. So TikTok, I'm standing there making small talk, but still everybody's looking at me. And I call her back and I say, Miss Smith, what's going on? It's Tommy. She starts laughing. She says, Tommy, how soon can you be out here? I canceled the other company. And I said, all right. Here's Mary, she'll grab your information. And I high-fived everybody in the call center. I was so happy. We nailed it. And we led by example. So are you leading your team? A lot of you have teams underneath you. And are you leading? You know, I still get in the mix of it. You know, you say work on your business or work in your business. It's still good to show people that you can work in your business. So lead by example. Now this next slide is it's a really cool story. How many people here have flown Southwest? You know how they go A, B, C, they're different seat levels? Well, I used to be C all the time, and one day I was between two like linebackers, and I figured out what C stands for. It stands for center. So about 4 years ago, I decided I'm never going to sit C again. I travel way too much. I'm always flying, so I do A class, and I'm going on a trip to visit my sister. My mom's there, my beautiful niece, my 2 nephews, and I'm going there for Christmas. I'm going to Milwaukee. And I load the plane, and I always sit towards the exit row, and I'm at the exit row, and this lady, this flight attendant is standing there. She helps me load my bags, and I don't need help loading bags, first of all. So I load the bag up, and she says, hey, what's going on? What's your name? And I says, Tommy. And she says, my name's Anna. She says, why are you going back to Milwaukee? And I said, well, friends and family, you know. And she says, well, tell me a little bit about the family. And I go, well, okay. I got my niece and nephews this, and we're talking, and anyway, she's lighting me up. We're laughing. And I was like, man, this is the coolest flight attendant ever. And she's flying on Christmas, you know. And the flight takes off. We got our seatbelts on, and you know, are you sure you could do the exit? And she's going through. She's like, I know Tommy could. So we take off, and she just comes up to me, first one, and she hands me all these pretzels and cookies and snacks. And she says, what can I get for you, Tommy? I was the very first one. And I'm like, I don't know, apple juice or Coke, whatever I got. And she's bringing coffee out, waters. Everybody's impressed by this lady. I mean, the nicest lady ever. And I slide a $20 bill in her apron, and she goes, no, I can't accept this. I said, listen, you're the best I've ever seen. Please take this. And she said, okay. Well, I didn't see her after that. And I'll tell you this. So we land. And the pilot does an amazing job, just skirts it out. We get into the area where they take the thing, I don't know what it's called. Anyway, you know those people that stand up when the seatbelt comes out? They just stand right up there and wait. How annoying is that? Well, that's me. Sorry, but I'm not sorry. Okay, these are long legs. This is a long body. Okay, this isn't easy. So anyway, we get down, and I'm exiting the plane, and Anna's standing there. She's standing there with this letter. She said, thank you so much. She gave me a hug. And here's the letter right here. And I want to read this because she handed this to me, and I got off the plane, and she wrote it on a napkin. This is the real letter. I read it every day. It says, I just wanted to say thank you for the tip today. Although it wasn't necessary, it was very much appreciated. I'm a single mom of 3 precious kids and have had some unexpected and therefore unbudgeted car repair expenses this month. It made this month tough financially. Your kind gesture of the $20 tip is a reminder of God's provision, and I am certain that God will bless you for the generous heart. It's been difficult for me That's almost done. It's been difficult for me prior to coming to work, but I love this job, and it's easy to have a joyful heart when I get on the plane. Your kindness certainly has brightened up my day, and I believe it's important to recognize that. God bless Anna. So she handed me this letter, and I'm telling you, it was $20, but it reminded me to give more. And if you guys see me after this, I'll take $20 if you want. But the point is, listen, I'm sitting here at this event, I'm putting together this presentation, and the letter's right in front of me, and I go, wait, that was a heartfelt card she gave me. And this touched me. This changed my life. And I said, we're going to this event, and it's all about heartfelt relationship cards. That lady never knew me. I'm a stranger to her. She was pouring happiness, wasn't she? She didn't have to do that. I'm wondering how many people got letters from her if I was the only one. But you guys, here's what I want to do. I want to do a 30-day challenge. And I don't want you to write it to your clients. I want you to write one card a day to somebody that's not expecting it. Somebody that's going to make their day, just one, starting tonight. And send a card to them because it means a lot. I'm telling you, it's just, that touched me. I read it every day. So I want to talk a little bit about managing versus building leaders because I used to manage people. Managing people is great till I got to 40 people. And then I was like, oh, great. I can't do this. So we came up with this document, and this document has built leaders within the company. And we have a lot of leaders. So this document, here's how it works. I have 5 direct reports. And they come into my office for 1 hour a week, and they present to me. They tell me what they got done last week. They tell me their goals. They rate themselves 1 out of 10. They come up with new ideas. And it builds leadership. We actually have our core values on here. We said, what do we do to amplify our core values? And here's the deal. You've got me and my 5 direct reports. You've got my managers. You've got my supervisors. And we're growing leaders. And that's why we're going to have no problem from going from 250 to 1,000 in the next 2 years because we have so many leaders within the company. So what I would implore you to do is stop managing people and start focusing on building leaders because about 3 years ago, a guy asked me, I was consulting him, small company. He goes, Tommy, what happens if I train these people? I give them everything I got, my heart and soul, and they leave. And I asked him, what happens if they stay? What happens if they stay? And he started hiring, and he's like, wow, that's amazing how it works, isn't it? When you actually build leaders. So a secret weapon that, so I'm kind of a dork. That's why we got the Lead Geeks company. And I've got 5,000 Facebook friends. I've got 20,000 LinkedIn connections. I've got my podcast. I've got all my Google contacts. And I said, how is this send-out cards going to work for me? How do I get it all into one? So we built a simple CRM that went out with a smart form. And the smart form went like this. I texted out. I had a video of me. This was the first one, but I actually made a video. I said, this isn't a prank. I really want to get these dates. And it was a smart form, so I got their birth date, their wedding date. If they said they had a kid, it got their date. And it went out to thousands and thousands of people. We took it all out. We put it into send-out cards, and we hit, me and my assistant, amazing gal, her name's Bree. We send out all these cards all the time. We were able to get this information, and it means a huge difference when you could all get it into send-out cards. And the reason why I'm telling you guys this is I'm excited with Dave about what Dave Smith is doing. He's doing this Sendogo, and this is what it's all about. To have this stuff that we could actually use the stuff that I've been working on, my CRMs and Service Titan and all the stuff. And we're actually going to be able to implement these things with send-out cards. I mean, it's amazing when you guys really comprehend what this is all about. When you could take a CRM. I service 5,400 clients a month, 5,400. And I'm able to send out a card to all of them now. I mean, this is going to be, I'm telling you, and I talked to Cody about it. Cody's like, listen, don't ask them for a review. Don't ask them for anything. Just genuinely thank them. And I can't wait. I can't wait because Dave's been working on this thing for 5 years, and it is a game changer. So the fact is, I don't know if you knew this about me, but I only work with PhDs. It's not the PhDs you're thinking about. I only work with poor, hungry, and determined people. And I have a nice house in Scottsdale. It's a beautiful house. It took me a long time. I added a urinal, and I put a garage door in the bathroom. But I decided that I didn't want to live there. I got a small apartment complex. I moved into one of the units. I drive a 2012 Nissan Titan with 130,000 miles on it. And I love meeting new people that want to work with me because I tell them, dude, I'm poor. I'm not literally poor, but I'm poor. I'm hungry, and I'm determined. It means a lot to me to be poor, hungry, and determined. I'm going to live my life like this. So this is Bruce Lee. He said, long-term consistency trumps short-term intensity. Long-term consistency. So when I think about this, I think about send-out cards, and I'm like, man, when I joined send-out cards, I was sending like 50 a day. 2 months later, I was sending 10 a day. 2 months later, I kind of skipped a few days. So a lot of us get intensity down, and we go on these diets, these fad diets, but if you change the way you eat and put it into a regimen, it'll change the way you really think. So remember that long-term consistency is better than short-term intensity. Now, this is a cool slide because preparation matters. I got the pleasure to meet Robert O'Neill. Okay, this is the guy that killed Osama bin Laden. He's a Navy SEAL. He's the best of the best. He's on SEAL Team 6. And what I learned about Robert O'Neill is it takes 8 months to become a Navy SEAL. And what they do is they drown you and then they resuscitate you. They stop you from sleeping for 5 days at a time. 5 days. They literally stress you out physically and mentally. And then they put a little bell in front of you. All you got to do is wave this bell. And you get a warm shower and a steak dinner. I would have rung that bell the first day. So that takes 8 months to get through this brutal thing. Only single digits make it through. And then if you're the best of the best and you get nominated by everybody on your team, you could become SEAL Team 6. SEAL Team 6 is like, dude, that is like the elite of the elite of the elite. So they nominated Robert O'Neill for this. And now he's got 9 more months of training, jumping out of a parachute in the middle of the night in who knows what country. They practice, they land on electrical wires, you name it. I mean, this is brutal. Only 50% of the people nominated make it through SEAL Team 6 training. So he's got 17 months underneath his belt now. And they call him for all these missions. He was the guy that went and rescued Captain Phillips, you know that Tom Cruise movie, or Tom Hanks, Captain Phillips. So yeah, so he's run all these things. And one day he's sitting down, he's watching his daughter. She's 4 years old. 4 years old, and she's doing a play, and I could only imagine it's a little teacup play. And he gets a call. He says, we just triangulated the position of Osama bin Laden. He said, we got to go. It's go time. So he's sitting there looking at his little daughter on stage. He doesn't have much time, so he decides, I'm going to write her a letter. Only this time, he didn't write the letter for when she was 4 years old. He wrote it for when she becomes 25. He said, honey, my baby, I love you so much. I wish I got to see your graduation. I wish I got to be the first dance at your wedding. I wish I got to hold my first grandchild. I'm sorry Daddy had to go, but I'm waiting for you in heaven. And his wife was supposed to give that to her when she turned 25. Because this mission was unlike any other mission. You see, this mission, there was less than 50% likelihood of coming back. Because what they do when you catch them is they strap, a bunch of bombs and they blow themselves up. So he left on that mission, and he's getting on the helicopter. He's getting on the helicopter, and one of his buddies, another Navy SEAL on SEAL Team 6, says, hey, Rob, why are we doing this, man? He goes, we know we're getting ready to die. We're going on a suicide mission. And he looks down and he looks up at the guy and he goes, I'll tell you why we're going. He goes, there was a woman with 3 kids younger than my daughter that was on the top of that building on 9/11 when she was burning at 250 degrees Fahrenheit. When she jumped off and held her skirt down so she could have some dignity as she fell. That's why we're going. And that's why we're going to go get this guy. So they went, and they were prepared. And they went in and they killed Osama bin Laden that day. They got him. I mean, can anybody say God bless America? I love that story, man. I got goosebumps when he told that. He's like, man, we were prepared. Oh, man, it's so good because they got him. So this next slide is about keep calm and ask. We saw this thing at A1 Garage Doors. It took us a while to come up with it. It's a 16x7 steel back garage door. It comes with 2 decorative hardware kits, trim on the outside, 80,000 cycle springs, 100,000 cycle rollers, an operator reinforcement bracket. It comes with a 3/4 horse lift master with 2 remotes and a keypad. You could use it anywhere from the world because it's connected to your phone. It comes with a surge protector. I mean, this is the bomb. It's $3,200, $267 a month, same as cash for 12 months. And so we came up with this, and I told all my guys, I was like, guys, this is amazing. Start offering it. Sell this thing. And I remember it took 3 months. The first guy sold one. And I mean, I preach this every day, every meeting. And finally, he sells one. And I get him up there, and I say, what did you do? How did you sell it? And he comes up there in front of 100 guys. And he's like, all I had to do was ask. I just asked. And I got the next guy up there a month later, and he's like, I guess that's what he did. I asked. And finally, I'm like, all you guys did was ask? That's that simple. My favorite 3 letters, A-S-K, ask. If you don't ask for it, you'll never get it. It reminds me, there's a psychologist named Robert Cialdini. He wrote a book called Influence. And this guy's world-renowned. He went to ASU. He's an ASU professor. And he's walking around the ASU campus, and there's this little Boy Scout that walks up to him. And he says, sir, would you buy... The Boy Scout says, would you buy a $10 raffle ticket to support my trip coming up for my Boy Scouts? And he looks at him, he's like, I'm sorry, don't have much money. And the kid grabs him. And he says, if you won't buy this $10 raffle ticket, will you at least buy a couple candy bars? So he reaches into his pocket, pays him $4, has 2 candy bars. He walks into his office, the psychology office. He's a huge instructor there. And he throws the candy bars on the table and goes, what the heck just happened? I don't even like chocolate. And what he realized is it's hard for people to say no twice. It's really, really hard for people to say no twice. So what we do with the worry-free is we start here. We could always come down. So I want you to remember that. If you want your son to clean his room later, tell him to clean the whole house and mop the kitchen. And guess what? Come down. Hey, if you won't do that, just clean your room and make your bed. You'll get it. You want to borrow $500 from your neighbor? Tell him you need 10 grand. Say, well, you know what? Hey, how about $1,000? Oh, I don't know. Well, look, can you at least do 500? I mean, this stuff works. Trust me. So we started thinking about WIFM, or, you know, what's in it for the other person. So Detroit manager calls me. He goes, dude, we can't get any good people. He goes, you don't understand Detroit. Everybody's smoking weed out here. I said, it doesn't matter. We're going to get them. We're going to find these guys that aren't smoking weed. He says, how? I said, what's in it for them? Quit thinking about what's in it for me. We're always looking for people. So I rewrote the ad. Here's the ad. I wrote this one. I sent out to 10,000 customers. I said, if you know anybody looking for a career, that's looking for a place to call home, A1 Garage Doors is it. We do insurance. We do employee of the month. We have all these things. We give them so much. We have a gym. We have arcade games. We really care about our employees. We wrote this ad. I put it out everywhere. We had over 500 applicants that week. I flew to Michigan. We hired a lot of good guys. It was crazy when I started changing my mentality towards what's in it for them. I'm going to have to scoot this up. So what's in it for them? I really think about this a lot. I'm going to move here a little bit of this video here. This video is going to move you guys. I hope they play it nice and loud because it's about figuring out why you started. Why are you doing this? Why are you here today? So check it out. It's 2 minutes long.
You can write everything down if you want to. Be brave enough to write every one of your goals down. But I'm going to tell you something. Life's going to hit you in your mouth, and you got to do me a huge favor. Your why has to be greater than that knockdown. And I love it. Buster Douglas got knocked out. Nobody ever got knocked out by Mike Tyson and ever got back up. It was almost a 10 count. He was stumbling. They were 4, 3, 2, 1, and ding, 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 saved by the bell. He goes to his corner. The whole world is like, yep, that's it. Once he comes back out, that's it. Mike's going to just hammer him. And exactly that. Mike Tyson came out like, I got him. I got this kid up against the rope. Listen to me, many of you right now, life's got you up against the rope. You can't give up. You can't give in. Listen to me, if it was easy, everybody would do it. And if life's got you backed up, I need you to do what Buster Douglas did. Buster Douglas started fighting back. And the world was shocked. Goliath has been knocked down. What happened? And they went to Buster Douglas and they asked Buster Douglas simply like, what happened? And Buster Douglas said, listen to me, it's real simple. Before my mother died, she told the whole world that I was going to beat Mike Tyson. And 2 days before the fight, my mother died. Buster Douglas had a decision to make. When his mother died, he could die with his mother, or he made a decision, I can wake up and I can live for mom. And he knocked Mike Tyson out simply because his why was greater than that punch. His why was greater than defeat. His why was greater than his trial and his tribulation. And I'm telling you, if you don't know what your why is and your why isn't strong, you're going to get knocked out every single day.
Whew, still gives me goosebumps. So finding out your why is huge. I always used to ask people, why did you start your own company? And they go, because I didn't want to work for that. I want to say something bad. I didn't want to work for that jerk. And that's not enough motivation to start your own business. It's just not. Listen, I got about 5 minutes here, or they're going to drag me off with a cane. I got to shut up soon because you know I could keep telling stories. I think you know that about me by now. So I wanted to first say thank you to a few people. I've got George here, amazing guy. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for George and Chaz Karaki. I've got my good buddy Jim here, who helped me put all this together, helped me up with the speech. I got my girlfriend Andrea here, who supported me this whole time. And I wanted to just remind you guys, remember when I told you that you would leave here with one thing? Well, I lied. There's a lot of things that I want you to leave here with. Because you remember that story I told you about my mom and dad? Well, you could choose the outlook of your life. For me, I'm choosing happiness. You remember that story I told you about Luke, how he was trying to get that raise? Well, I ooze passion. I get excited. I love it. How much passion do you guys have? When you're selling send-out cards and Sendogo, get excited. Let people see this excitement. Remember that story I talked about with 6 degrees of separation? Listen, take advantage of your relationships. Use them. They love you. They care about you. They want you to succeed. Use that. And of course, you remember my CSR Mary, because I led by example. I wouldn't accept no for an answer. And they were impressed that day. They'll never forget that day. In fact, Mary's probably watching right now, live stream. And Robert O'Neill, do you guys wake up prepared? Do you make your bed before you leave? Are you kicking butt every single day? Prepare. Every time you show up to a client, every time you do a presentation, did you prepare? I'll tell you, I prepared for this. Ask. A-S-K. All you got to do is ask. And the biggest thing, why did you start today? Why did you come here? Figure out your why. Figure out where you want to grow to. Figure out what's in it for them. Every time you sit down with somebody, instead of saying, how could I grow my network? I need to sign up 10 more people. Say, man, if I get this guy, what's that going to do for their life? What's that going to do for his family? What's that going to do for his relationships? Think about everything when you go to do anything for family, friends, neighbors, anybody. Think about what's in it for them. Start to really write down how they're going to benefit from this. So listen, I hope you guys learned something from what I've discussed today. I hope you guys take away something from everything I talked about. One of these stories, just one takeaway. But more importantly, I pray that you act on it and you do it. Because words are just words until you do something about it. Thank you guys very much. My name is Tommy Mello.
with me for a second. Just acting on a prompting. Got to come out and chat with this guy just for a second. So was he cool or what? So I got to tell you, when I first met Tommy, and again, thanks George for the introduction, but when I first met Tommy, we talked a couple times on the phone, and you came to Salt Lake and met with me. And I had a prompting. I didn't know this guy. I mean, I talked to you a couple of times. I thought you were pretty crazy, right? But I didn't know this guy. I didn't know a whole lot about him. I knew that you wrote a book and you gave me a copy of your book. In fact, one of the things I was so impressed with is that he was coming to Salt Lake to meet with me for the first time. When I showed up that day, I didn't know Tommy. I just knew I had an appointment with this Tommy guy. I show up. I go into my office. On my desk is his book with a card from him to me, which I think he orchestrated with my assistant or something. He wanted to make sure that before my appointment with him, that he had my book, he had my card, and it had to be there 10 minutes before we had our meeting. And that's how I first met Tommy Mello. And I'm like, God, this guy's for real, man. And then we had this meeting, we started talking, and I had a prompting. And I don't know if you remember this, but I had a prompting, and I said to you, you need to speak at the Grand Summit. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
It was a prompting. I said, this guy needs to speak. So was that a good prompting? So he has this book. By the way, can you bring those books up for me? He has a book, The Home Service Millionaire, which we're going to have copies here tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay?
Brought copies for tomorrow.
So I got to tell you something about this book of his, Home Service Millionaire. So I get this book, and I read the book. I thought it was just going to be a book about garage doors, basically, you know. It's just a book about garage doors or his story of how he turned this business around or whatever. And it is about that. I mean, you tell the story in the whole bit. But I get reading into this thing. I'm not kidding you. This is literally, and you guys know I read a lot. I've read every book of every presenter that's here. I read all the time. So I read a lot of management books, a lot of sales books, management books, leadership books, the whole bit. So, you know, Peter Drucker, all those big names, you know, Peter Drucker, that was from a long time ago, right? But yeah, a long time ago. But anyway, I read all these management books. So I'm sitting there reading Tommy's book, which I think's about, you know, garage doors. And I'm coming to learn as I read through this, literally, this is one of the best management books I've ever read. Like, it's that good. It's a book about how to build business. And it's intense. Like, it's amazing. Like, did that really come from your head?
Took 3 years.
Like,
3 years. I had 12 contributors, too. It's not all from me, so smart people.
Just an amazing book. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Greg, when he came to send out cards as our new CEO, he immediately incorporated a book program with our staff, with our senior staff, where they read a book a month and they study the book together. And this is one of the books that we insisted that we put on the list. In fact, I believe it's the next book that our management team is going to be reading and studying together. So I just wanted to get up here and share that with you and congratulate you.
Thank you so much.
Great job.
I appreciate it.
Good job.
Thank you.
Excellent job. Tommy Mello, everybody. Good stuff.